Got a double online regional breakdown for you here, and it looks like Sprite and Tier decided they wanted to duke it out this weekend. Make sure you guys smash the crap out of that subscribe button so you guys don't miss out more awesome content. Your first breakdown here is going to be from the side deck regional with 5 Sprite decks in Top Cut. Oh my gosh, man. Like, Sprite has just had this huge dominating force of a metagame presence out here. And, you know, everybody's wondering why we're like, Banless, please take care of this deck. I mean, so many of your old tier 1 decks are having such a hard time keeping up right now. It's crazy. Now, the interesting stuff from this, and winning this regional was actually tier elements. So you had 5 Sprite decks present, but only tier overcame what looks like the boundary here. And then we also had Dragon Link and Sword Soul stepping up to the bat here to show us that, maybe there was a powerful contention here for these decks maintaining. Not bad. Let's pass it on over to deck list. Second place out of the side deck regional here was Aaron Pastrana playing none other than Sprite. There's going to be a lot of Sprite list here because these are a dime a dozen. The most exciting thing about this list here is the inclusion of Gamma with E-Telly in order to kind of teleport out and set up your bigger negates. I mean, hey man, it's a body that you can deploy the decks at level 2. It's also a tuner if you really care about that, and it just also feels for this. I also see that Pixies is getting the chance to kind of take off right now, which is actually pretty good. I know a lot of people were initially looking at Pixie being like, nah, it's definitely got its place now. And I see that Iria is kind of starting to move up in the ranks now as an option tree for this deck. So definitely one of the better builds I feel like for this format, because when you just kind of look at like how this deck starts off, you know, its combo ability, how much gas it has to full combo, it's pretty much an insane awesome combo deck. Next up here was, this should be third place, it should be Gabrielle Rosa playing the adventure package in this. Now you do see a big shift here between the list, all right? Like, we got out the Deep Sea Diva package, we got out more of the powerful option trees here, and then we go ahead and line up for this with, you know, good old adventure package. I've been seeing Talents has felt like a very good card, and for most of the reports I've been hearing from people, Talents just feels like an amazing power card. And we're playing Iron Chain Blaster. What in the world? I've officially think I've seen once for instance an Iron Chain monster control the graveyard to inflict 800 damage to your opponent. You can bring this off of Gigantic Sprite and then ping your opponent for 800 in time. That is the cheesiest, funniest thing that I've seen in a hot second. All right. Next up here is another Sprite list. Okay. So this should be Kyler Price's list. Now, once again, you see we're still playing Prosperities in this. This version guts out the Talents. We don't need, you know, your defensive package of Water Enchantress and Friends. You're just basically going to capitalize and do everything that we normally would be aiming to do here with this. Dark Ruler No Mores. Basically, your choices this format are, do I opt to play the Dark Ruler No Mores, or do I not? And honestly, I think either version of this will help you out in the long run. You just got to decide what's going to be better for you. Like, honestly, it's what it's coming down to in the long run in terms of your deck builds here, is just which version of this do we want to go with, you know. Just literally pick your poison. I think that's the thing I like about Sprite so much, is how well it's adapting in terms of diversity. Next up here is more Sprite. Once again, Dark Ruler No Mores interchange out for the Talents here. We're still on Deep Sea Diva. As you do see once again, now that you're on your next up-teen list for this, you see like that difference that we're talking about here. No Brave package, the staples. You know, you don't play E-Tally in this version for Gamma. You know, we decide the package. We have Dynamiscus as an access point down here so that you can go ahead and set up, you know, 2 to 3 Sprite Elves in terms of your overall deck building. You know, I do like the fact this one has Siding Solemn Judgments. I'd probably be a little bit crazier like this. You have no Pixies once again in this. It's you have so many flex tech spots in this. It's such an interesting little creation box for you to see and mess around with. So those are all of your sprite list out of this particular regional. Not too bad, to say the least. Now, we also have Bosch's Dragon Link list. Now, between this and the other regional this weekend, which was Arkahm, which we'll cover here in a second, Bosch ended up topping both of these events. All right, so he was the lone Dragon Link in both of these regionals. All right, so before you're like, oh my god, this was an off show. No, this was a pretty big thing. I also gotta give a shout out for him here for Ozone TCG and Rahan Seed. And he said Illegal Knight overperformed, which is really good. Insane going second into Tier and Sprite. Scythe is incredible, especially against Tier. Oh, hello Scythe. So it's our side deck option down here. Scythe off the Riser, summon it with Baron. Beats both Dark Willow No More and Super Poly because there's no Super Poly target in the game at the moment to fuse Baron off. And then Ogre sucks. Dark Willow No More should be main. So, of course, a little different contention there for Dark Ruler No More and Ghost Ogre, I suppose, just as little side notes here. Even though this version, I think he opted to just straight not worry about that skill tree for this. But little differences in between lists out of the weekend here. But this was the finalized version that we had from Sunday for him. So, Dragon Link, ladies and gentlemen, you love to see it. And this is one of the first Sword Soul lists that I've seen. This ended up making 8th place out here from Ahmed, getting, 8th place out of the side deck regional on Sunday or Saturday. A lot of people out here have been asking, what happened to Sword Soul, Robbie? This deck has a huge problem keeping up right now with the general power scaling of the event. All right, so what's very, very interesting about this is even through playing through everything, this deck still feels too fair in the grand scheme of things. And that's why you're seeing issues with this deck kind of taking off and having a chance to be successful. But this is one of the first Sword Soul lists I've got the chance to see for new format. All right, we're going to pass on over to the Arkahm regional breakdown now. All right, we have our doubleheader regional breakdown here for the Arkahm regional. Now, I've heard multiple discrepancies across multiple people telling me that multiple opponents have played different things, and it is very interesting to hear these things. But alas, from what I was able to gather here, we had 4 tier elements in Top Cut. I understand people wanting to keep information quiet, but just asking what a player played for an event, and you lie about that? Big sus. Then we had 3 sprites in Top Cut as well. And we ended up having 1 Dragon Link as well. A little disclaimer for this info, when we go to build these regional breakdowns, I have to message every single person in Top Cut, to find out, hey, we put this together. Sometimes they don't message back. Sometimes we have to cross-reference with their opponents in order to, find the info to put these breakdowns together. There's a lot of time and effort put into these. So it'd be great if people I don't even care if you share your list. Just when you're gathering a breakdown for a pie chart, you don't gotta lie about that. Like, who cares what you played, man? We're gonna pass on over to the top deck list. All right, we have Sprite here giving us a nice little representation yet again. I swear, man, like, Sprite is everywhere. Now, my favorite thing about this was we only have 2 prosperities in this build, which is quite really nice, actually. I'm very happy to see that, even if you're on a little bit more of a budget, you can still get away with reducing 1 copy of this and achieve those more basic rewards. And by rewards, I mean, yay! Sifting for good option trees to win the game. I'm happy to see Underworld Goddess down here. I have not seen a lot of these builds out here kind of focusing in on this, and while, this card is a power card at certain points and outs certain things, I guess there's not a lot of things that you really need to worry about per se, enough to force you into playing this. But it's definitely one of those cards that you see and you're like, oh, well, that's an interesting little tech choice out here. So not too bad. Once again, all these sprite lists are kind of starting to blend together at this point. So that was your 5th place sprite list here. Now, we also have 3rd place here, which ended up, once again, man, hey, look, we got talents in this bad boy. You have... It all looks the same, man, at this point. There's not like a crazy lot of things to really talk about in terms of this. Triple Sprite Elf is a little bit exciting. You see Avermax being a little bit more of a hard carry, I feel like, in this deck, which has definitely been good. I mean, IPing into this feels so much better at the end of the day. Like, talk about free wins, man. Like, how are you going to be able to out an IP into Avermax that's literally indestructible? Like, the answer is you don't. All right. Trust me, most of your overall metagame is going to struggle so hard in order to get over it. Like, absolutely good luck at the end of the day. So that wraps up our end of the sprite queue here. And then we also had one of the interesting takes for tier elements. This has pretty much been standardized across the board from what we've seen with a lot of the other tier elements list here. Guardian Chimera starting to see a little bit more play here with the built-in polymerization, and then, you know, gaining the other secondary clause here with polymerization in the graveyard. Opponent cannot target this card with card effects. So basically gain a little bit of levels of protection here. Also happy to see the Mothman and the Danger package was taking off in here as well. You kind of take all of the best of worlds here, and then you stick it together in one deck to functionally work. Not too bad. So that is your regional doubleheader weekend. What do you guys think? Please leave a comment down below. Tell me what you're saying. Make sure you guys smash the crap out of that subscribe button. See your beautiful faces back here later in the day, guys. Peace out. Patrons, thank you.
Thank you so much for watching. Check out these other videos.